Life processes. What is life processes? Life processes means any and all processes which makes an organism alive, which makes an organism alive, or which maintains life. Go on and on. That means these processes should be always on as long as we want to live. No sooner the process, any one of these processes will over, and we will also be over. So it is a continuous process. Now we shall know that what are those processes which are keeping us alive or which are continuously on. See, there are a number of things which we find different in a dead body and a living body. What are the differences? Dead body and living body has got only one difference, that it has life process, it has no life processes, and it has life processes going on. Rest, everything is same. The body structure, the weight, the number of things which are present there, everything is same. But only thing which is not there is that life processes. And in fact, because of the lack of life processes, it is dead and it is still alive. So can we point out what are things not there? If we differentiate between the living and non-living, we have got number of things. That is, living being can move, living being can grow, living being can transport from one place to another place, living being respire, living being eat, nourishes, and excretion is there, then locomotion is there, then it also able to reproduce, and it also have definite life or definite body structure. Now what are the things which are not there in the dead body and living thing? That is, if you look at the structure, everything is there. Movement, of course, it is not able to move because it is no more living. The energy is not there. Rest, able to recognize the sensation, that is also not there because it is not living anymore. So the most important thing which is missing is the life processes. Now what are the life processes? The life processes are categorized into 4 things. First is nutrition. Second is respiration. Third is transport. And the fourth is excretion. We shall look these points one by one. First, we shall consider what is nutrition. Nutrition, that is any process by which a body acquires nutrients. Why nutrients? Nutrients are required for several things, mainly for making or building structure, for repair and maintenance, and most importantly for production of energy. Energy which is required to keep our body alive. So nutrition is very important, and we must remember that nutrients are always obtained from outside. It may be in the form of some organic substances which is commonly known as food. However, plants and other organisms are there which are not taking the organic substances directly, rather they are making their own food using some inorganic substances like CO2, water and minerals. So these are the things which we require from outside. That is called nutrition. Who require nutrition? One of the basic thing, you must know the difference between nutrition and feeding. Feeding is intake of food. Who takes food? Body takes food. Whereas nutrition is the process of acquiring nutrients. Who acquire nutrients? Each and every cell. Of our body. So one must remember the difference between nutrition and feeding. Feeding is a part of nutrition, but feeding cannot be considered as nutrition. We sometimes mislead. We think that we are eating food, that is called nutrition. If that is the case, then eating is only for time being. You may be eating twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times, 8 times, 50 times in a day. Sometime mugging something, munching something. That is not nutrition. Nutrition is very elaborated. Nutrition is done at the cellular level. Now, whereas the feeding is done at the body level. You are eating food. When we say that I am eating food, I don't say I am taking nutrition. Nutrition is the cellular level. However, if body is made up of one cell, for it nutrition as well as feeding is same, like for amoeba. So I think it is enough. And by the nutrients, that is nutrition, we get nutrients, and nutrients are required for building our body, for growth, development, repair, regeneration, reproduction even, and for getting energy for doing any sort of work, maybe for movement, for locomotion, for making new cell, for breaking of the food and many other things. That is practically everything which is going on in our body are based on energy, and all this energy come from our food. We are not sitting in the sun and getting energy. We may get energy, but that energy of no use to us. We will discuss on this thing little later when we will be elaborately studying about nutrition. It is only an introduction. Second thing is respiration. What is respiration? It's one of the very common questions which I used to ask children, what is respiration? And their answer is only that is taking in of oxygen and giving out of carbon dioxide. Children, taking in of oxygen and giving out of carbon dioxide is not respiration, but it is only a part of respiration called breathing. Even your scooter take oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. Even a lighting candle is taking oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. Oxygen in and CO2 out. Can you say that carbon dioxide, the candle is respiring, or your scooter is respiring? There are a number of processes where oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is given. All the burning processes are depending on this system only. But that all are not respiration. Respiration is quite broad thing. We are here only considering this particular thing is only breathing. I'm here to tell you what is respiration. Respiration is, in the simple word, I can say unlocking the chemical energy present in food, that is nutrients, for various life processes and other processes by living beings. Whatever thing you want to do, you have to spend energy, as you already studied in class 9th, that energy is an ability to do work, and anything we are doing, we are actually spending energy, and that energy is coming from food. Now this energy which is locked in the food, say for example carbohydrate, say for example glucose, will be burned in the cell in respiration, and carbon dioxide plus water plus 36 ATPs are produced. Now what is this ATPs? These ATPs are the energy currency, which we already studied in class 9th. So this is actually respiration. About respiration we'll study little later in the elaborated manner. But respiration is actually completing in 3 steps. And these 3 steps is, first is breathing, second is transport of oxygen to each and every cell where the respiration will take place, and third, the oxidation of food. So respiration is in fact oxidation of food, where the energy is coming out, where the energy is unlocked, whereas breathing is merely exchange of gases. We are not doing exchange of gases, but we are doing entire process of breathing, entire process of respiration. Third is transport. Another important thing for all the bodies, to transport. Now what to transport? What to transport? Transport of gases like oxygen from lungs to the tissues and CO2 from tissues to the lungs. Transport of nutrients from digestive system to the tissues, and waste from tissues to the excretory organs. Transport of hormones, transport of many other things which may or may not be required by our body. So these are transport. Now how long the transport takes place, or how far the body has to transport the things. The transport is actually divided into 2 major things, that is the long distance transport and micro transport. Long distance, say for example in plants, the nutrients are absorbed by the roots and transported to each and every leaf cells or other cells of the body. In our body, the food is taken by our mouth, goes into the digestive system, digested, and from there it is transported to each and every part of the body. So they are the long distance transport, maybe few centimeters to several meters. Whereas micro transport is taking place in the micrometers, maybe within the cell or between 2 adjacent cells, etc. So here the transport is only up to a certain distance. When the transport is done within the cell or adjacent cell, we do not require any transport system. This will be mainly done by diffusion. Whereas when we have to do the long distance transports, we have to have some type of mechanism developed for that, about which we will study in detail little later. But the moment our body fail to transport, we will definitely die, because our body will not be able to transport oxygen, the energy will be not produced, and will die. If body fail to give out carbon dioxide, it will keep on collecting in the cells and will die. Nutrients are not there, we will not be able to make energy, we will die. The waste are produced and collected in the cells, again we will die. So any of the things, that is, if you want to live alive, this transport has to be continuously going on, and that is why we call it as a life process, maintenance process, continuous process, non-stop process. And the last is excretion. Here again the children have got a lot of doubt. They think excretion means only voiding of the urine or passing of the fecal matter, etc., etc. That is not only excretion. Excretion is defined as removal of metabolic waste from the cells. Excretion is taking place at cellular level. What we are seeing in the body level is a major part of excretion, but the excretion is actually done at the cellular level. Whenever any process is taking place, say for example, just now I explained you respiration, I said carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide is not required in our body, has to be given out. Water, of course, it is required by our body. That is a train passing. Okay. Water, of course, required by our body, but only a required portion of water will be kept. Excess of water has to be given out, because a cell has to maintain its microscopic structure. If more and more water is collected in the cell, then the cell will not be able to work efficiently. It will change its pH, it will change its viscosity, it will alter many other processes, and that is why it is necessary that the products which are produced as waste has to immediately discarded out. Now again there is a confusion. Children often say that excretion is always removal of toxic substance. Here water is not toxic. Even the plants, when they are producing photosynthesis, that is 6 carbon dioxide plus 6 water molecule and making 1 molecule of glucose plus 6 molecule of oxygen, that's all. Here oxygen is also waste. Now oxygen cannot be waste, because without oxygen we cannot survive at all. But plant cells not able to store oxygen. The excess of oxygen has to immediately let out of the body. So any of the thing which is not required by the cell at that particular moment has to be removed from here, and this process is called excretion. Excretion should not be confused by voiding of urine or sweat or fecal matter or exhaust gases only. But they are the major level, but the excretion is actually taking place in the cells. So we have discussed the 4 things, that is the nutrition, respiration, transport and excretion. These 4 things I said are continuously on, and we cannot bear even for a momentary, not even a fraction of a second, seconds failure can make us dead. Hence, life processes are important to keep us alive. Without life processes, we cannot sustain, we cannot live, we cannot continue. So children, on the basis of this knowledge, you have to do the following questions. First, what is life process? what are various processes known as life processes? Third, what is the difference between nutrition and feeding? Fourth, what is the difference between respiration and breathing? What is the difference between long distance transport and micro level transport? Sixth, what is excretion? Seventh, what are various functions of nutrients in body? Why are life processes required continuously on? So you have to do these questions in your notebook. Thank you for joining me.